What is going on, shrimp keepers? This is Rob with flipaquatics.com, and today we are at a very special fish room. This is Jason's fish room, Jadren Aquatics. Jennifer is also here, which is Jason's wife. Jennifer is starting her own YouTube channel soon. And what's the name of that? Shrimpin' with Jen? Shrimpin' with Jen. So you guys can find that. Go check out her channel too. She's going to be uploading some content. Hopefully by the time this video releases, she'll have had a few videos out. And so definitely show her some love as well as Jason. And so we're going to check out Jason's fish room today. And just wait until you see this thing.
I live in Texas. We don't have basements. And so this is my garage. So used to, this was the wall.
This is your garage?
Yeah, this is the garage. So
we're in a garage fish room.
So
we didn't even know it.
This is where I had it blocked off. And so as I'm building this thing, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to figure this all out. So that's why, if you look down here, the actual drain pipe comes across here into basically a sump, and it'll either flow out, and then there's also a sump pump that'll pump it out, and there's a little sprinkler system I have set up in the backyard that'll
so you recycle your water?
Some of it does, and some of it just runs down the driveway, so that there's two forms of it leaving in case the sump pump stops, because it's an automatic drip system, and so it could easily...
Your old fish room's on an automatic drip system?
Yeah, the whole thing's on an automatic drip system. It's all pulling from this 275-gallon tote over here. So like the garage is literally right there.
Oh, so you built this wall just to insulate? So we're walking in. So the first thing you have to know is there's a step here.
Watch your step.
You do not want to fall on that step. Okay, so this is Jason, first of all.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Alright, so my channel, Jadren Aquatics, basically started about 2 years ago. So the fish room itself is 2 years, about 2 years old. The whole reason that I even started a channel is because like I'm a nut when it comes to like pets and collecting and stuff. But my problem is I always burn out. So when I started the fish room, I thought, I want to be a part of a community. Yeah. So that's when I decided I'd go ahead and start a YouTube channel the second that I started it, so I could be able to show the actual building of the fish room as we went. And so if you look at some of my earlier videos, they're absolutely horrible. They're the most awkward things that you've ever seen.
I'll have to go back and rewatch some of the old ones then.
Yeah, oh, they're awful. My kids think it's funny to pull them up and put them on the TV and make me relive some of the awkwardness of some of my original videos. So that's kind of why I ended up doing it. And for those of you guys that are ever thinking about doing a YouTube channel, you really want to do it because this is absolutely an amazing community. For the most part, it's a tight-knit group of people that really watch out for each other and really care about each other.
If you guys enjoy fish room tours, will you do me a favor? Hit that subscribe button, join the Flip Aquatics family, but don't just do it for me. Also check out Jadren Aquatics and Shrimpin' with Jen on YouTube. Subscribe to both of them. They're great people, and I know that you will enjoy their content. Sticker after sticker after sticker, and I recognize most of the names, but there's some that I don't know.
So the sticker thing, so I run a local print shop in the Dallas area, and what I like to be, I've been really blessed to run a print shop, so I like to be able to use that in the different things that I do. And so what I decided to do when I first started the channel, you're always trying to do everything you can to try to pick up subs. So what I decided I would do is I decided that for free of charge that I would print up channel stickers for people. I would print them like 30 or 40 stickers because I realized I could take them and just put them in an envelope, put a first class mail sticker on them and send them out. And if I could get enough at a time, I could print a bunch of them on a sheet, so there wasn't really a lot of cost there. And so when I first started doing it, look, people were like crazy excited to get a sticker of their channel, and then they were blown away that they were getting it for free. It's not really that I had so much invested in it. I had more time than I really did anything else. So that's what this all started at. So now I probably have close to 120 different channels, all fish related, that I've done these stickers for.
Wow.
So I got them kind of stuck everywhere.
So I guess the real question is, how do we get a Flip Aquatics sticker up on this thing?
Well, this one, when I originally did it, was before I'd actually ever done one.
On the spot.
Well, no, it's actually, there's a bunch here that are not here because there's probably only 50 or 60 that are on here. I've had multiple ones fall because they don't stick to this metal very well, so some of them fall down.
That's what happened to mine.
Yeah, so yours was in that spot at one time.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you for all that you're doing for the community, and I have to give you a huge shout out. Jason did all the printing for Aquashella, for the fish tube booth, so he has been a huge asset, and he's not accepting like you're not making money off this. You're doing it because you're passionate about what Aquashella is doing, what Fish Tube's doing. And so we're so lucky to have you be a part of this. So huge thank you to you, Jason, for all that.
Well, I appreciate it. Again, it's so awesome to be a part of this community that it's awesome that I'm in the position that I am to be able to help out. And granted, there is a selfish side of helping out with the Dallas Aquashella, because again, it's in my backyard, basically. So as I told the guys that run it, I want to do everything that I can to make this thing successful so that it comes back. And if you guys saw some of the stats and stuff and the lines, it was obviously extremely successful. So that's very fulfilling to know that I was able to play just a little tiny part in allowing that to come to fruition.
Let's get into your fish room.
Okay.
So I think one of the most interesting things, like as soon as you walk in, you see this huge tank of just apple snail after apple snail after apple snail, or what we usually call it, mystery snails. And so what do you have in here?
So this was something that I just kind of started by accident. I got some mystery snails. I began to watch some of the videos where people were breeding them, so I decided to kind of try it out in a 10-gallon basis, and I quickly realized that these things were extremely easy to breed. And again, it's just fun breeding stuff. Like, I didn't really have any intentions of what I was going to do. I just started breeding them. And so the next thing you know, I moved to this 40-gallon. I've got a 40-gallon below that actually has the adults that breed in. And this is just the grow-out tank.
Oh, this is just the grow-out?
Yeah, this is just a grow-out tank for bristlenose and the mystery snail.
Those are calico bristlenose?
Yeah, those are calicos.
Those are really pretty.
Yeah, I think some got some really cool patterns. So this tank used to be loaded, but I sold almost everything I had in the last month. This tank, I'd actually feed a can of green beans every single day, just because they would absolutely just devour it. So that's why these tanks are like that. It's kind of weird devoting 40-gallon tank just to mystery snails, but the income that it provides, so if you know I got 68 tanks, it's expensive to try to do this. So any extra income you can make off of something like as mystery snails is easy to breed, they're easy to ship, they can survive almost anything. I took full advantage of it to help offset the cost of what it takes to run this place.
You feed them almost a full can of green beans.
Yes.
Is that all that you feed these guys? Is that the best food to feed them?
No, the other thing that I feed them, because they take a lot of calcium as their shells develop, because when you overfeed them like that, they will grow extremely quick, and if you don't give them the calcium that they need, their shells will get brittle and they'll just die. So you guys have probably seen there's a lot of different snail jello, they call them, online, where you're basically taking calcium and you're taking this gelatin base, and then you're putting like all different types of fish food. I use peas in mine, and you basically grind it all up in a blender, and you've got that gelatin mix in it, so that when you put it in the refrigerator or the freezer, it'll take that feeling of like a jello. And so I feed a ton of that stuff. Especially down here to my adults, so because they're the ones that typically have more problems with their shells not getting hard enough. But that's really the two things that I feed them. Well, I've never been able to really make up my mind what I want to do in the fish room. My two favorite things by far are cory cats. I probably have 14 or 15 different species, and plecostomus, which I probably have about the same amount. Guppies, I've got a bunch of guppies. I don't necessarily love them. I just kind of keep buying them. I'm not really sure exactly what's going on there, and I'm slowly kind of moving out of them. A lot of the ones that I have, I typically are the high end, like these are Dumbo red mosaics. But my favorite fish of all actually exists in this tank, and that's the leopard frog plecos. That they're probably in the cave right now. They typically stay hidden. There's about 6 or 7 of them in here. There's 8 of them actually. They're not quite old enough to breed yet, but that's obviously my ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Is to get those guys to breed.
That's awesome. Now, is that a DIY pleco cave too?
No, that's a funny quick story. I decided I would try to make my own caves because I had so many plecostomus, so I bought the slate and stuff you needed. I bought a wet tile saw, and I began to use it for the first time, and it was terrifying. Your hand had to get so close to this blade spinning, like losing a finger is not worth it. So literally the first day I used it, I shut it down. I called a guy, or I found a guy on Facebook that I knew that made these, and I asked him what did he have, and he's like, well, I got like 14 or 15 different caves, and I go, send them all to me. And so I put my saw up for sale and bought them all, and quickly realized that I've made mistakes like that before where you're trying to DIY something and you end up getting hurt.
Yeah, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, it's like, this ain't worth it. It's not worth losing a finger to save 20 or 30 bucks on a bunch of these. So
yeah.
So those were, I never had intention of buying. A guy that watched my channel said he bought too many, wanted to know if I wanted to buy some. I said sure. So he sent them to me, and I've kind of fallen in love with them. I was actually just going to grow them out and sell them at an auction, but I don't think I want to sell them now. I've kind of
now you just like them.
Yeah, now I've fallen in love with them. I used to have 2 featherfin catfish in here that I love. They were like little puppy dogs, but they just got too big for the tank, and they just bullied the angelfish all the time. They didn't go after them. They just like to go back and forth, and when the angelfish would get in their way, they would just nail them out of the way, so where they would start getting damage on their fins and stuff. So I finally decided 3 or 4 days ago, and I got to get rid of these. Someone on my channel saw a video and said, I'll take them. And so then I had to ship them, and that was another terrifying thing. I hate bagging and shipping fish, by the way.
Ooh, this guy is gorgeous.
So this tank, I've given this tank basically to my daughter-in-law. She always wanted to do a tank, so I told her whatever she wanted I would buy for her. And so there's a breeding pair of platinum angels that I got from Dan's Fish. They lay eggs all the time, but I just haven't taken enough time to pull them yet. I'm actually probably going to move them to their own 29 because I want to see if they'll actually raise their own. There's also a Royal Plecosmus in here that's hidden. You can probably there's an L200 Phantom Green that's also in there, and those 2 guys stay hidden almost all the time.
This is some interesting looking rock. Is that from the store? Like, where'd you get it from?
No, so basically we have a huge landscape area here that sells all kind of rocks and gravel and stuff. You know, you buy it by like the dumpster truckload full. So I went out there, and they've got about 15 or 20 different types of it. So I went out there with, you take a 5-gallon bucket out there and a shovel, and you shovel it all in. You fill a whole 5-gallon bucket, and the whole 5-gallon bucket full, 50 pounds, is like $6.
No way.
Yeah. So a lot of the gravel that you'll see in here, anything that's not sand or is not the flue ball stratum, is just the different ones that I've picked up and tried, and it seems to work fine. I don't seem to have any kind of problems with it.
First of all, I like the circular stones. I think that's good for the reticulated hillstream loaches.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people talk about the flow that hillstream loaches need, and I've had these guys for about 2 years now.
You've had them for 2 years?
Yeah, and I don't think I've lost a single one, except I lost one kind of early, but I haven't had any trouble with them. So I know they talk about needing like real rich oxygenated water, and they all seem to be healthy, and you constantly see them around, so I haven't had any problems with them.
Yeah, now the Cordors in here, what type is that?
There's Mateys in here, and there's also orange lasers. There's probably about 12 orange lasers, and sometimes they'll be out in groups like crazy, and sometimes like right now they'll stay hidden. In fact, crazy. That top tank has green lasers in it. They're a lot smaller.
So you love the cories?
Yeah, I absolutely love cories.
Now I think this is really cool, how you have these stickers. Right here. I know that you run a print shop, so it makes things like that easy. But is that something you sell?
No, I've thought about it, but there's so many different ones. Trying to take the time to try to make one for everything that's out there. And the other problem is the majority of the pictures I'm just pulling off of Google.
Oh,
and so then I run into the problem of copyright infringement of someone that owns the picture, and to try to go through all of that or try to take my own pictures, there's just no way that it's worth it. The main reason that I do this is because I have so many different type of fish that a lot of times when I'm doing my own fish stream tour, I forget what the fish is, or I forget like, especially if it's one of the guppies, I can't remember what the stupid name for it is.
Yeah, so that's an easy way to keep it straight.
Yeah, it's an easy way for me to remember. And again,
and then you know exactly what they look like.
Yeah, I've got 13 or 14 different type of cories, and sometimes I get it and I just can't remember what the heck it's called.
So if I get some of those made with shrimp, could you do like a shrimp sticker line for me?
Yeah, they're really easy to do. Used to, if you look,
that's actually a really good idea.
These are the ones that I used to use, but they curl and I hate them. And so I wanted something that didn't get in the way. So that's why I started making these smaller ones. They look better.
Yeah.
And I started putting these things on here to block out some of the light. And these things were kind of in the way because I would get so much glare whenever I was filming.
Well, looking at this, you actually have a ton of shrimp.
Yeah, these are shrimp that I actually bought from you, Rob, about a year or so ago. Everything I got from you, except these, I've got cherry shrimp. As you can see, these are much redder than some guy on off my channel decided he would send those to me for free. So those are the ones from him, and then I've got some random ones up here in the corner that I got from someone else. But all the rest of the other 7 tanks are I think every color Neo that Rob has.
Yeah, these are phenomenal. Like, I can't believe this is 4 generations later, and look how blue they are.
Yeah, they're absolutely beautiful.
Are these your favorite out of all of them?
Oh yeah, by far.
Yeah, like, how you just can't beat that color. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's shockingly blue.
Now, what do you do with all the babies?
For the most part, I pretty much just let these tanks go. I don't do a lot with them, but I've fallen so in love with the shrimp, and my wife has too, that I've started, when I feed, a lot of times I'll take a net in there and I'll swipe as many as I can, and I'll throw them into another tank while I know they won't get predated on, just to watch them in the other tanks, because I enjoy them so much. And I've noticed, like, having them in tins, I think it seems to restrict how much they will reproduce. It almost feels like they get to a point and they kind of stop.
Yeah.
And I've noticed when I start to move them into like 40s and stuff, there almost seems to be no limit at which they were reproducing. They seem to reproduce so much faster. And all of my tanks have an automatic water change system except for these shrimp tanks. When I originally got these, I used RO water to do them, and then I began to realize more that Neos could survive pretty much any typical community tank water conditions.
Yeah.
So I stopped doing the RO water. So now I just do just the standard tap water, after I've used Prime or Safe on it.
So in your opinion, being a fairly advanced aquarium hobbyist, actually, you've only been doing this for how long?
Yeah, only 2 years. I've been in and out of the hobby, but serious for 2 years.
So you would say that you have a pretty good understanding. So with a pretty good understanding of aquatics, you feel like shrimp are a pretty easy thing to keep?
Neos are incredibly easy to keep. They require almost no maintenance whatsoever. Water changes on these, truthfully, maybe once every month and a half.
Wow.
I'll change about 10% of the water on.
And obviously they're doing great.
Yeah, I when I bought the shrimp from Rob, I also bought a bunch of the Shrimp King, the 5-pack, the complete one.
Yeah.
It has all the different ones, and that's what I feed them. And then on the off days, I feed them green beans too, because they love everything in here loves green beans. I go through a case of green beans a month.
Jeez.
If not that. So that's pretty much all I do for them. It doesn't take typically much more than that.
This is my favorite fish in the fish room so far.
Okay, so those angels were actually, they've only been in there for about a week or so.
Wow.
Those were out in my 55-gallon out front. Now the 55-gallon out front takes water changes with buckets, which I couldn't do it anymore. Having all this in here, automatic water changing. So the only reason these guys are in this 20 right now is because there are 2 that are paired off and laid eggs in the other tank, and I don't know who it is. So I'm trying to figure out who it is so that I can separate them and move those 2 into their own 29-gallon. So right now it's too small for those that are in there.
Yeah.
But again, I'm just waiting for those guys.
Just temporary.
Yeah, just temporary, so I can get them to pair off.
Oh, what are these guys? These are interesting looking.
Those are goodeids. Those are split-tail goodeids, I think what they actually are. Mica splendens.
Yeah.
Those are ones that are actually on the CARES list. I got those at an auction one time. Those are live bearers, and they actually have, that's the first baby I've ever seen.
Nuh-uh.
Yes, literally.
So we got it here first.
Yeah, and that's what size they are when they're born.
That's a big baby.
Yeah, their babies are. There's one right there too. They have almost full-size guppy.
How cool is that?
Babies, and literally that's the first ones I've seen. I've only had them about 4 or 5 months. The males are the ones that have the yellow on their tails, and the females are the ones that don't. A lot of people will keep these things with cichlids because these things know how to defend themselves. They're rough and tough.
How cool is that?
There's also some starlight plecos in here you hardly ever see that are absolutely beautiful, but they got this solid black body with just the white dots all over them. And anytime I film, they're never out. But when I'm not filming, they're
Watch, you're gonna come back to film the babies later, and they won't be out.
Yeah, exactly.
Now this is a beautiful plated tank.
So when it comes to plants, the running joke with Jason is he has no idea how to pronounce or know what any plant is. I've done multiple videos that are absolutely hilarious because it's me trying to pronounce plants that have come in. So I just don't know them. I haven't learned them yet.
Yeah.
And so some people look at my tanks and they're like, "Oh, this is a beautifully planted." I'm like, I literally threw the stuff in there.
That's funny.
There's no rhyme or reason to what is in there, or do I even know exactly
It looks great though.
what's in there.
Like, is this one of your favorite tanks, plant-wise?
Yeah, it probably is. There's one that's kind of growing some other stuff over here that I kind of like.
We'll have to get to that one.
Okay, so originally I had all these 10-gallon tanks with just bare bottoms with guppies in them.
Yeah.
And so I just I got bored with the way this looked. I wanted something good to look at.
Yeah.
And when I would watch Bob Steenfots, he would have those, like these 40 gallons that were sort of set up sort of the same way. And I liked it was just more pleasant to look at.
Yeah.
And I love breeding, and that's what's really more or less going on in this side, but it's not much to look at.
Yeah, so this side is like...
Yeah, this is...
We started on the good side.
Yeah, this is, and I always start all my videos on this side because this is the set back and relax and view the peaceful tanks. And so actually all these 10s I'm planning on replacing all of them with 40s and just pretty much get rid of all my 10s.
Do more display tanks.
Yeah, more
Wow.
display looking.
You even have a ton of shrimp in here and babies of the plecos.
Yeah, in this tank there's multiple breeding pairs of albino bristlenose. The shrimp that are in here, again, these are ones that I was just taking out. I would just swoop a net in there as I fed them, and I threw maybe 10, maybe 15 in here about 3 months ago. And there has to be 100 plus in here now. And these are also breeding a stare-by cory. Most of the ones you see in here are ones that I've raised up from babies.
Wow, and they're pretty close to full grown.
Yeah, I think most cories take about 2 years before they're sexually mature. I think that's why a lot of people have trouble getting them to spawn because they just don't have them long enough.
Yeah. You got a ton of shrimp in here.
Yeah, it's a fun tank to watch because it's just to watch the shrimp's interaction.
Look at that big girl.
That's a big old neon.
She's huge.
Yeah.
She almost can't even swim right. She's just waiting to pop. Have you ever bred them?
No, I've never really attempted it. It's something I want to do because I know they've sprayed eggs around before because there was another female in here that was huge in another video that someone made the same comment about, and then she wasn't anymore. So I'm sure it was quickly eaten up by something else that's in the tank.
Maybe try to put a spawning mop in there or something and just see.
Yeah, that's what I was planning on doing.
That's freaking cool. I love it. Now down here, geez, you got more planted tanks.
Yeah, so this is literally one where the plants got thrown into it. Now this has become my Amazon puffer tank. There's 5 Amazon puffers in here. There's probably a dozen or so.
Oh, I didn't even see them. They're jetting around back there.
Schwartzy cories that are down here in the bottom. There's a tiger pleco. You can barely see his tail sticking out. And then there's a multiple breeding pairs of calico bristlenose in here also. The black angels used to be in here, and Amazon puffers are a good community puffer, but they will nip at stuff with long fins. And they were nipping pretty bad at those black angels to the point where I finally had to remove them. But as most everyone knows, puffers are fun because I have so many ram's horn snails breeding in all my tanks that I have an unlimited amount of food for them. So I constantly throw ram's horn snails in here and just watch them devour them.
Yeah, that's crazy. And what are they called? African puffers?
These are called Amazon puffers. It's pretty much the only puffer that are. It's a community type puffer where you can typically put it in with most fish. Over here, we got these are all the rest of the 10s. The majority of what we have in this tank is either quarantine or it's some type of guppy. Quick, get him now. We'll never get him.
Where?
In this tank, this is quarantine right now. That's a sunshine pleco. He's just a baby. These guys are absolutely gorgeous when they get older. My local pet store got him in. I did an unboxing when he was opening these, and I was so excited, and I was hoping they weren't full grown, because when they're full grown, I think they're 14, 16 inches long.
Wow.
And I knew I wasn't going to be able to get them. So when I saw him open the bag, he was sad at the size, and I was excited.
So you're like,
about
that's the
size.
one I want.
Yeah, so he's in quarantine right now. There's also a parapleco in there that you almost can never see. He's usually hidden in there, so.
That's cool. So you do a lot of, what are these, or endlers?
Okay, so those kind of have become just a miscellaneous. They were I think they were like a nebulous steel guppy when I got them. But through breeding, through them having babies over and over and over, you can see a lot of endlers are starting to come out of them.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of interesting when you see some of these guppies to find out that they've been, bred with some type of endler to get the patterns.
Yeah, they've been crossbred.
Yeah, and they haven't been done enough because you never know what the heck you're going to get out of them.
That's crazy. So do you sell a lot of fish or not really?
No, again, I hate bagging fish, so I don't really sell a lot. Occasionally, I've got a few people that buy from me here and there. That I don't mind dealing with them because I deal with them all the time. This is not my intention to make this a business or try to make money off of it from some of the guppies and stuff that I breed. It's more just for a hobby and enjoyment.
These Dumbos are beautiful. What are these? What's the official name of these?
These are Dumbo Super Dragons.
Wow.
Yeah, these are, like I said, there's only about 5 or 6 different guppies that I want to hold on to. And there's 4 or 5 Dumbos that I have. Most of the other guppies I'm kind of looking at, I'm probably going to move away from. I might sell those because I want to break down almost all of these 10s and put 40s up instead.
Yeah, these are gorgeous. Where'd you get these from originally?
Those are from Phil from Tame Waters in Minnesota.
Wow.
I built a really good relationship with him, so every time he gets something new in guppy-wise, I typically get some because he's found this breeder in Thailand that's fantastic, and they're not only do they look good, but they breed true. The one that you saw in the first one, these are all ones that I got from him also, and these aren't grown yet, but the females have like these. They have these massive tails where you look at them and you can't tell them female at first. They look like they're males because their tails are so beautiful.
Yeah, that is just like that right there. This makes me want to get guppies.
Yeah.
I never wanted guppies ever.
Yeah.
And now you got me wanting some. So if you ever get those breeding, I know a guy. That would want to buy some. Yeah, these are all cool.
Yeah.
So over here, what's some stuff once you break down these tanks? What are some that you're definitely gonna hold on to?
These are Dumbo 24 karat gold. These things are gorgeous. Also.
Oh my gosh.
So those I'll
I know what it is. I love the Dumbos.
Those just have a yellowish gold to them that just, I don't know how they got that to come out of them.
Oh, those are gorgeous.
Those, I struggle with albinos. I have a softer water, and guppies typically like to have some hardness in their water. And so, like albinos, I can barely keep them alive. But I've got these albino red lace guppies over here are ones that I've had a little bit of success where I've actually been able to keep the parents alive for a year or so. But for the most part, I just avoid anything I avoid any guppy that has the word albino in front of it now.
Just because, for whatever reason, they just do not like your water.
Yeah, they just don't like my water. And again, these other ones, these Dumbos have done so good in my water and breed so well. And when I tell them, I go, only send me stuff you're getting from that breeder. Because I know his stuff does well in my water. These are I think they're called Sunsets. They're not Dumbos. But they've got a really beautiful pattern on their tail.
Oh, I see it. They're called Sunset.
Yeah.
I can see why. That tail is just... Yeah, that tail's beautiful.
And I've probably got 6 or 7 different species of endlers also. In fact, at the show, I got multiple things from Lucas. I got some solid black guppies that literally just put in down there. They're kind of young right now, but he says the females,
I did see those.
The females will turn solid black once they get old enough. And then I got some lime green endlers from him. I can't even remember where I put them at. I think I put them down there somewhere. I've got some tiger endlers. I used to not like endlers at first, but then they kind of grew on me.
Ooh, this guy's gorgeous.
That's a black.
What is that?
That's a black metal lace. I think was what that one's called. That's actually another one from Tame Waters.
Holy smokes! That's a good looking looking guppy.
The one next to it, this is an albino where I lost the two of the trio, and I don't even know what to do with him. He's just in there alone by himself. He's beautiful, but I just don't want to deal with another albino. Now, why he survived so well and I lost the other one so early?
Hard telling, right?
No idea.
4 tanks, man.
Actually, it's not the last. I just opened up a brand new section of the garage.
Oh my gosh. You got a lot going on.
Yep.
This carpeting plant, you had it in the tank over there. I really like it.
Yeah, so I did a thing one time for the stickers. I told people they could trade me plants for stickers.
Yeah.
So people were just sending me plants all the time. So again, a lot of it I don't even know the name of it. And so I think that's Amazon chain sword, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
Because it'll keep chaining its way all the way down. So I just planted a little bit in there and it's began to spread.
Yeah, this is guppy grass. Guppy grass is another one. We can never keep guppy grass in stock.
Yeah, I just threw a little bit of that in there about a month ago, and it just exploded because this is again another tank I started throwing shrimp into, and so the shrimp population exploded. And I can't grow. I struggle with Java ferns sometimes. There's a few of them that do pretty good. Sawassertane doesn't do too bad, but the guppy grass does really, really well.
Just takes over.
So that's why I put it in there.
And you got CPDs in there.
Yeah, there's 4 or 5 CPDs that I got from a guy local that I did a fish tour. There's some beautiful longfin chocolate bristlenose. You can see him a little bit right there.
Yeah.
He's got huge flowing fins. But the problem is I have 2 males. I have no females. So I can't get them to breed.
Well, that kind of stinks.
Yeah.
So you're on the market for what are they? Chocolate longfin bristlenose.
Yeah, chocolate longfin bristlenose is what I.
Females.
Yep.
Very cool. It's like I love this.
Oh, also, if you can, there is some more Dumbos. There's a purple. Oh, he's right there. It's a purple mosaic.
Oh wow. Yeah, I could get used to a colony of those.
Yeah, that's the male. There's a female that has a tail almost the same size as him somewhere also.
And what's up on the top?
That's a breeding. There's a breeding. I think there's 4 super red bristlenose in there. Then there's also some red sailfin Venezuela cories, and again some random shrimp that I've thrown in there.
Nice. All right, what's this other part of your fish room that we need to see?
So this is actually an expansion that I just finished about a month ago. So used to, this was the wall. So that you guys know, I live in Texas, we don't have basements. And so this is my garage. So used to, this was the wall.
This is your garage?
Yeah, this is a garage. So
what a garage fish room.
So
we didn't even know it.
This is where I had it blocked off. And so as I'm building this thing, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to figure this all out. So that's why, if you look down here, the actual drain pipe comes across here into basically a sump, and it'll either flow out, and then there's also a sump pump that'll pump it out, and there's a little sprinkler system I have set up in the backyard that'll
so you recycle your water
some of it does, and some of it just runs down the driveway, so that there's 2 forms of it leaving in case the sump pump stops, because it's an automatic drip system. And so it could easily...
Your old fish room's on an automatic drip system?
Yeah, the whole thing's on an automatic drip system. It's all pulling from this 275-gallon tote over here.
And that thing just automatically refills?
No, the problem is I don't have any water out here. The water has to come from the washer and dryer room right there.
Yeah.
And so I have a PVC pipe that goes all the way right to the edge that I can quickly hook a hose up to it. Because right now I'm having to fill this thing up almost every 2 to 3 days.
Wow.
And
so you have a pump in here that's just constantly running?
No, it's on a timer. It's just a diaphragm pump. It's basically a pump that you use for an RO unit to pump more water through. It works on the same process.
Gotcha.
So it can run dry without having any kind of problems. And it can pull from deeper areas. So everything on this side is just all, this is obviously going to be a bunch of tanks, and it's going to be almost all 20-gallon longs.
So you're doing this whole back?
Yeah. So that in the end it should be 100+ tanks.
Ooh, check these out.
So that's the
shrimp tanks.
That's the shrimp tanks from the contest that they had at Aquashella.
That's awesome. You got a 7.88.
Yes,
and a 7.38. You got some high-end tanks here.
Yes, I've got some high-end tanks. And
Yeah, so these are the tanks that are going up?
That's the Petco run. I was trying to buy as many as I could, and I think the sale actually ended, so I'm back to having to... the problem is if I get too many in here, I basically have no garage left now.
Yeah, and then you have no room to build out a rack or anything.
So like the garage is literally right there.
Oh, so you built this wall just to insulate?
Yeah. I didn't...
You're a handy guy, huh?
Well, it's simply from learning. This original wall that was here wasn't insulated very well. It still did fine. I didn't have any real trouble. So I built this, and this was an undertaking because I wanted to put a drop ceiling, but I didn't think about the fact that I wanted my garage door to still work. That's why I put a drop ceiling. But a drop ceiling has to wire into the ceiling.
Yeah.
So you can't wire it into the ceiling
if your garage
door there. So that's why these 2x4s are here
hold it up.
to provide what it needs to hold this thing up.
That's
so this
crazy.
was a project that you start that you're like, why did I start this?
Yeah, what did I just do?
What have I done?
That's crazy. That's pretty cool that you were able to do this.
Yep.
That explains how you got this in here, because I was thinking, I was like, how did he get this big toad in here?
I started to make one of the walls where you could actually like open the wall like as a wall door to be able to get that in and out, or to get stands in and out. And I finally just got a big 36-inch door. So that's obviously not going anywhere until a wall comes down.
I think it's what, 40 inches wide?
48. I think it's 48 by 40 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's basically 4 foot.
So you got some more tanks over here. So you're still expanding.
Yeah. Well, when everything gets full, you're like, I gotta have more tanks. It's like
room.
it's never ending.
Yeah, it is never ending. But
And
it's fun.
As a YouTube creator, you're constantly trying to come up with content.
Yeah.
Well, more tanks means I got to build more stands. So it gives you the ability to create more content.
Yeah. Well, Jason, how about this? I ask everyone this question. If you could give one piece of advice to everyone watching, what would it be?
One piece of advice. I've seen you ask this question 1,000 times, and every time I hear the question, I don't necessarily can really come up with one thing. It would probably be plan out what you're doing. Because what happens is you run into all these problems. Like this stand right here, it really needs to be pushed forward because there's so much empty space there that I could get more tanks, but it's so spaced out that it doesn't really work out. So my suggestion would be plan in advance. And if you're planning on setting up a fish room, drill your tanks. Drill your tanks so that you can do a drip system. It's not very difficult to do. It's just very time consuming at first. But the time that it saves you, once you have it going with this many tanks, is
worth it.
I would quit by now if I had to hand change all these things. Now, granted, I have to gravel vac and stuff all the time, but I don't have to sit there and worry about water changes. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the tour of Jason's fish room, Jadren Aquatics. Check him out. Also, Shrimping with Jen, that's Jason's wife. She's going to be making videos. This solidifies it. She cannot back out now because you guys are going to be looking for her, and she's going to be doing some shrimp videos coming up. Jason has a ton of shrimp already. So Jason, thank you for all that you're doing with the fish room, with Aquashella, with the fish tube, with being a part of it. And we just appreciate you in the community. So thank you, Jason. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, Jason, why don't you close this out? Tell everyone to have a great day, whatever you want to say, and we'll finish the video on that. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys so much for stopping by. You guys are absolutely awesome. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for each and every one of you guys. We'd be absolutely nothing. So thanks again, guys. Be sure to leave a comment down below if you got anything to say. And thanks again, and God bless.